Pretty cool, huh? I got that for a Christmas present from my dad. Wow, it's amazing. In January, he will have been deceased for what, 20 years? And this sits on our shelf every year, and we can make it louder, softer, or my wife likes it more like this, off. Okay. By the way, she's in the bedroom, so if there's any issues, hopefully she'll come out here and yell at me. So, okay, let's see. People, plastics, and pollution. Get a drink of water here first. Direct from Lake Michigan. It is pumped into the pump house, pumped up to the water filtration plant, and it's filtered. It's tested first, filtered, and then it's sand filtered. They also chlorinate it, and they send it up to the water tower. And gravity pretty much takes care of the rest. And I had a chance to tour the water plant here, and it is a wonderful facility. I would say it's one of the best in the area for sure. But what could be hidden in there that even the best water filter systems can't get out? I think we'll talk about that a little bit today. And what about microbreweries that use Lake Michigan water? What's hidden in there, or possibly hidden in there? Tasty. Let's see, water, a little beer. Well, okay, I'll go for the beer. Okay. Oh, hello, Dee. I have a hard time reading this screen here, Dee. Hello, how are you? I'm glad to see you're here. At least I got 2 people watching, I know for sure. Mrs. G and Dee from Dee and Zoe's channel. Wonderful. Anyway, I know what you're here for. You're here to see some of my beach treasures, which I'll show you here in just a minute. If you read the description, you know that I want nurdle hunting, and I'll show you what I found nurdle hunting. And then, of course, the whole idea is to try and figure out what could be hidden in there that is so small you can't see it. That's the whole gist of the thing. Well, anyway, let's see. Let's go with, in about 1950, they started mass producing plastic. All right, plastic of all kinds. Since then, over 8 billion tons of plastic have been produced worldwide. All right. And no doubt it has transformed our society. It sure has made things easy. I mean, plastic glasses. What else do we have here? Oh, like plastic wrap. How about plastic Ziploc bags? Oh, these things are fantastic. Those are snack bags. We also have sandwich-sized bags. You have freezer bags, tons of bags that make saving our food a whole lot nicer. Of course, then we package a lot of our foods in here. Oh, wait, what the heck? Oh, there's one left. Good. Oh, this thing is way too far away. I need a magnifying glass. Good. Have a hard time typing. That's so fun. That's okay, Dee. If you watch, that's wonderful. If I can keep you interested for any length of time. Anyway, food packages. Now, look carefully on this one, and there's no markings on it, so I don't know if it's recyclable or not. Normally, it goes in the trash. And that tends to be a problem. And Robert Getter, who is he? Robert Getter. Oh, my brother Bob. Hi, Bob. How are you? I'm just going to show you some of the goodies that I've collected over the last couple of weeks here. What else happens, though? Oh, yeah. Have you ever been on, it's been a hot day and you stop at the local store and you get one of these? Get some nice cold water in one of these little bottles. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely fine. Or you get a hot cup of coffee, and then, of course, it's got a plastic lid. Oh, your little snack bags. And again, neither one of these is recyclable. So those just go into the garbage, into the landfill. You get these little cheese things just covered with plastic. Same deal. Now, this was an interesting package because this one stated that if it had in-store recycling, then this is recyclable. So I'm figuring there's some plastics that are recycling, some are not good for recycling. And this one could be recycled depending on where you shop. Now, one thing that I did, because I started getting into this, was usually what I would do is take this cheese block, and once I opened it, then I would put it in a little plastic bag. So then I had two pieces of plastic. I had the outer covering, and then I had the plastic bag. And of course, when you're done with the cheese, they both go in the trash. So I thought, you know, how could I save? The way I could save is very easily done. I just take the end, I clip it off, fold it over, rubber band it, and I'm going to put it into a little plastic bin like this and save one piece of plastic. I know what you're thinking. It's just one little piece of plastic, but you know, if we all pitch in, I think it'll be helpful. This is one of those little K-cups. They are recyclable. We did not know that when we first got them, but if you take the top off and empty out the coffee grounds in there, and there is like a paper filter in there. We've been taking it out, but we've also heard that it's not necessary. So something else that you can recycle. So anyway, let's get back to the problem here. It doesn't matter if this is laying on the beach or it's in the landfill, plastic is going to be around for a long time. All right. It just doesn't break down as fast as other materials do. Sometimes take hundreds of years for it to break down. Now, some is recycled. I know here in town, we have a recycle bin outside our door, and we have a bigger one out front. And it would, it's collected every other week. And we have it pretty full, usually with cardboard, aluminum, paper, and plastic. That's, we fill it up almost as much as we do our trash. So we've been trying to help a little bit here. Unfortunately, a lot of it ends up in landfills, which you know, and a lot of it ends up in streams, rivers, oceans, and lakes. And then you find all these treasures. Let's see. I walked on the beach for about 40 minutes, about half a mile down and a half a mile back. This was 1 week. This is a week after. And this is just one big piece I put in a separate bag. Okay. Let me give you some vital statistics. Reports say that there are somewhere near 22 million pounds of plastic end up in the Great Lakes every single year. And I got my statistics from 2 articles that I put in the description below. So if I make any snafus or I have any errors in what I'm saying, check out those articles. They're really good and in much more detail than what I'm going to do here. Lake Michigan gets the worst of it, about half of it, 11 million pounds. The way they figured that out from what I read was you look at the major cities. You've got Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You've got Chicago, Illinois. You've got Gary, Indiana. Michigan City, Indiana. You've got Benton Harbor, St. Joe. They have a fairly big harbor. Muskegon, Ludington, and so forth. So there's a lot of people that live, work, play near the Great Lakes. Lake Erie is about 5.5 million pounds every year. Lake Ontario, 3. Lake Huron, 1.3 million pounds. And Lake Superior, 700,000 pounds, which makes sense because it's probably the least populated. All right, so what happens to plastic? Well, it wears and it breaks down. Let's see, where's that? This one. This one I spied on the beach. It was a perfect treasure. And I found this on one of the private beaches. Now, even though it says private beach, you're allowed to walk along the shoreline. And I don't think they would have any issue with me picking up this styrofoam. We don't find too much styrofoam. But look at that nasty piece that was washed up. That was washing around in the lake. Now remember, that's where we get our drinking water. But this is pretty disgusting, and there's holes drilled in it. I have no clue what critters could have done that. Zebra mussels, maybe? All right, that goes in the trash bag. And that's all I have in that bag. And then I found some other neat things along the shoreline. Now, this hadn't been in the lake too long. You can tell just because there's not a lot of wear on it. So it probably broke. Kids just left it in the shore and ended up in the water. And we had some pretty severe winds last week, and it washed up because it was, I walked one day and the next day it was there after the wind. So that I'm going to put in a recycling bin because they might be able to figure out if it's recyclable again. All right. I got it. This is, I found this along the shore. This is one of those baggies I was telling you about that got left on shore, and then some kind of plastic type material, garbage. And this is the rest of it. I'm sitting here at the kitchen table, but I have some plastic tablecloth over it, which I can reuse. But look at that, that's disgusting. And I pulled that out right along the shoreline. So yeah, the waves were hitting this. That unfortunately goes to the landfill. And then some little kid lost their cap. And again, I don't understand how people can lose this stuff or just leave it. But now that happens to be a feather from one of our furry seagull friends. And that's all in that particular bag. And these bags can be recycled. There are certain stores that will collect these and have them recycled. So I'm assuming that one product that I showed you would fit into that category. All right, now we get into the nitty gritty. This is the handle to a bucket. I'll move this for a minute. I got some major cleanup to do when I'm done. This is the kind of stuff that I find on the beach. It's more important for you to see this than my face. Plastic silverware. You can't imagine how many of these you will pick up. And if you went every day, you'd probably get a couple, 3 dozen at least. The other thing that I see, this is just a little piece of rope. This is not, it's trash, but it's nothing I think that's awful harmful to the environment. It all depends on what it's made up of, and I can't tell. Once in a while, we'll find aluminum cans, and you can see what the lake does to it. This was not in the lake very long, for sure. And oh my gosh, I wonder where that went. This is just a little plastic float. Somebody missed it, lost it when they were fishing, and it washed up on shore that day. By the way, this bag, some of it's trash because you can't recycle some of this real small stuff. Just a lid to a container. And this would be a lid to one of those drink cups. You find tons of these. And the one thing that I find quite a bit of, let's put this over here. See that drink cap? You will find literally hundreds on our public beach. Now, that doesn't mean that the city doesn't clean it up, because the city does a really good job of keeping our beaches in good shape. But it won't pick up, the machinery will not pick up small bits. And we have tons of small bits. Like I say, this is like 30 minutes or 40 minutes of walking up and down the beach. Well, grandkids are getting older, but they still like to play in the sand. So I'm going to save that. No fighting over it. They each get one. Oh, no, we got 3. Oh, well. Maybe I should glue that big one together. I find plenty of big pieces of just regular plastic like this. This was at one time part of a bucket. More plastic silverware, just plastic pieces. You don't find too many of these cups anymore. Like I say, the big stuff is pretty much always picked up. More chunks of plastic. I have no clue what these are, but I have an idea. They're from fireworks. Hundreds, if not thousands, of rockets are shot off along the lakeshore every single 4th of July. And this happens to be a roll of plastic tape, or it was a roll of plastic tape. All right, I see I've got some people. Oh, hey, Richard. Oh, Katie and Zoe. 100 years. Yeah, that's a long time. That's my brother. Yeah. Supply bags anymore. Do you? Pretty hard to bring groceries home. You know, during COVID, before COVID, Mrs. G has a collection of bags. And what we did was we would take those recyclable bags or reusable bags and they would fill them. But once COVID came along, the stores didn't allow that. And they just said, this is it. This is what we're going to give you. Then you deal with it. I'm hoping eventually we'll be able to go back to using those. I know Aldi, I believe Aldi still allows, you'd have to ask Mrs. G. I know you're watching, Mrs. G, but I think Aldi allows people to use their own bags. And that would save a ton of this stuff going in the landfill, because a lot of people are going to throw them out if they don't know what to do with them. This is a water bottle. Like I say, you don't find too many of these. See the difference? This one's been in the lake for a while. And again, the wave action, the sun is going to break this all down into very small bits. And we'll get to that later. More small pieces. All right, this happens to be the newest piece of trash that I see on the beach. And you don't see many, but you will see 2, 3, maybe on a walk. Not many, but it's the new trash. People lose them, they blow away, they don't pick them up. More bits. Plastic lid, you can tell it's been in the lake. The lake hits it, waves tumble it. Let's take a look at this. See if I can sort these out. A fishing lure. Somebody lost his fishing lure there, probably connected to a big fish. No hooks on it, just the plastic body. The rest probably rusted out, and all that's left is a plastic, which will be there for years. These are all straws, folks. These are all straws. And this is not the most I've seen. This is just the tip of the iceberg. All plastic straws. You can find these. This was what, 30 minutes of walking, and I didn't even do the whole beach. I just went up and down. A shame. Now, I know people like to let balloons go. Oh, I see I got more people here, so I will check out those comments there in a second. I got more that the people like to let the balloons go. We've all done it. But you know that the balloon and all of this is going to end up somewhere. And a lot of it ends up on the beach. In fact, right there, the rest of the balloon is gone. That's all that's left. All right. Got another little bit of toy here. Yeah, that should make us quite a monster in the sand. And this looked like that was part of a kid's toy also. So a ball. Oh, sand's still coming out of that. Vacuum cleaner, vacuum cleaner. Oh, I got a mess to clean up when I'm done. Big chunk of plastic. More bottle caps. More bottle caps. More bottle caps, bottle caps, bottle caps, bottle caps, bottle cap, bottle cap, bottle cap. Big chunk of plastic. Looks like it came from some big plastic item. Piece of like plastic drainage. Might need. Of course, I found this kind of stuff occasionally, not too often. All right, this is, I know what this is because I have grandkids. That's one of those little ring pops. Well, the pop is gone, but the plastic ring is going to be in a landfill for a long time. All right, let's see. I see some new people popping up here. Let's see. Pam, hi, glad to see you. And, oh, how about that? Too fat? Too furious. Oh, we can't stay long, but that's okay. I'm glad you're here for a few minutes. That's great. And saw a pic of the turtle with the straw stuck in his. Oh, yes, I did see that. I did see that. And there are, boy, I should have written down the name of the website, but I can't remember exactly where it's at. I think in Africa someplace, where they actually rescue seals. And, you know, they get trapped in stuff like this. This is just those little 6-pack holders. You know, if a little critter gets caught in here like this, they have no way to get that off of them. And this is not going to degrade, so they have to swim with it. It chokes them. This is the kind of stuff that I know for the fact that we can improve. We'll talk about that before we end here. But yeah, I did see that where they got the straw. But I understand that there are just bazillions of plastic straws. And then, of course, a couple more spoons, another straw, forks. I have no clue what that is. Piece of plastic I saw sitting on the beach. Another piece of silverware. More bottle tops. And this is the one that bugs me the most. These are all of those cigar or cigarette tips. Look at these things. Gobs of them. These are all cigar tips, tipperillos, whatever they are. There's just tons of them. Absolutely tons of them. All right, well, got some more paper stuff, some more lids. I'm clueless. More fireworks. You don't find like I said, you don't find too many big items like this anymore. But I got one more bag. And then I'll show you what I found when I was nurdle hunting. And then that'll get us into what could be hidden in here. All right, let's see. This was a different day. About 40 minutes on the beach. Okay, never been open. I don't plan on drinking it either, but never been open. That is just as tight as can be. I don't know how that stuff gets on the beach or why it's left there. I do not know. Okay, this is a little plastic container of some sort. More straws. I know you're probably getting bored with me showing you all this stuff. Ooh, look at that. This will be a surprise for Mrs. G because when the kids go to the beach, they can now make grandma her favorite thing, turtles. This one, I'm going to keep and recycle it myself. Okay. I have no clue what this is, but I'm assuming big bolts went through there, so it looked like a clamp of some sort. We got another plastic. Ooh, itty bitty little rake. Yeah, we'll keep that one. Tent stake. Now you might think, why is there a tent stake? Well, a lot of people now bring those little like enclosures at the beach, not just beach umbrellas. So I'm assuming that's what this was used for. I can use that. When I bought my tent, or when I got the tent, they didn't give me enough tent stakes. That's pretty lightweight. Again, more of this ribbon attached to balloons. And as you can see what the lake does. Now, where's the rest of that? It's in the lake, washing around, breaking up into smaller and smaller pieces. Look at all these bottle caps. I mean, this just, if you have a bottle and you're done drinking the stuff, put the cap back on. It's not that hard. Drives me crazy. Our beautiful beach, our beautiful, beautiful, pristine blue waters, and we get this. At one time, this was a small soda can. Tire to a plastic car, some more silverware. Anyway, more fireworks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Who is flossing their teeth at a public beach? Maybe that hot dog they bought at the concession stand wasn't too good. I have no clue. I have one worse one. And then I'll tell you the most disgusting thing I ever saw on the beach. Ladies, how these get on the beach, I have no clue. But that's just one. It's not unusual to find a half a dozen easily, especially in the summer months. I don't get it. This can be recycled. And okay, I'll just push this stuff up here for the time being. Again, more of those cigar things. I got another 5 or 6 here. I don't see anything else. All right. So I decided to go nurdling. And what happens to these pieces is they break down into smaller and smaller and smaller parts. It doesn't go away. It just gets smaller. And the parts are so small that they become microplastics. And the definition of microplastic, and I think you can double check me in the articles, is anything less than 5 millimeters. Okay, it's a microplastic. All right, let's see. Yep, breaks my heart too. And did you pick this all up, Richard? Yes. Two weeks apart, or I'm sorry, 1 week apart, 2 trips, about a half a mile down, half a mile back. And sometimes I do a little zigzag, and if I see something, I'll go up and get it. But usually about 40-minute walk, I picked up one bag, one 40-minute trip, 1 week, and went back the next week and picked up the rest of this. And like I say, you could probably pick up an entire bag of just this little stuff. All right, so what is nurdling? Well, you know what microplastics are. Those are very small, microscopic pieces that are getting into water systems. Now, remember, I said plastics, 1950. So that means they've been in water landfills for what, over 70 years now? And those particles break down, they leach into the water system, into the river. Of course, there's litter like this along the river. This breaks down into those microplastics. And that's the big concern. I mean, these pieces can be picked up and eliminated. It's the microplastics that have broken down that are getting into our water system. That is a problem. All right, how do you go nurdling? Well, it takes some patience. But what you do is you find an area where usually like the wind was blowing really hard, so the loose sand was pretty much gone, and you scoop this up and you just sift it down. And then you sort of go through and you look for nurdles. Now, what are nurdles? Well, I did about 40 minutes of scooping and sifting, and I found 3. They're going to be very hard to see. Can you see them in there? Those are nurdles. That's sort of the quotation name, but that's what they make plastic out of. And what's happened over the years, the supply chain has actually spilled many of these into the water. And so I have to look this up, but how much did they find? Okay, these are resin pellets for making plastic. They went to beaches in 2018 and they scoured 42 beaches along the Great Lakes or 66 beaches along the Great Lakes, and they found that 42 of those beaches had nurdles, plastic nurdles washed up on the shore. 42 out of 66. And if you want to see a really good picture, take a look at one of those articles that I left. Pretty cool. And now, here are the other pieces that I found right there when I was scooping. And those are the ones that our machinery will not pick up. It's just going to be on the beach forever, or until it breaks down into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. Like I said, it just doesn't disappear. So we can't blame other countries for this. We just have to blame industry, and we have to blame ourselves. A lot of the stuff that's here was all put on the beaches or rivers or lakes by us. Now, the million-dollar question is, what can we do about it? If you have any ideas, you can leave them in the comments. I have a few ideas. I showed you one where instead of using 2 bags, I use one. It's like this one. I want nurdling. I can use that over again. Oh, you know what? Before I get onto a tangent about that, the one thing that I saved till last is the best thing. Not everything that I dig out of the lake is bad. Some things are really cool. For example, I made this little plaque out of some driftwood, and it hangs in my garage. Yeah, just simple, but that's really pretty cool. Now, if I was artistic like my sisters, I could probably do some more decorating to it. But no, I thought that's pretty cool. The other thing that I find plenty of is beach glass. This is glass shards that one time was trash that the lake, it's a bit hard to see with it, the lake has turned into real translucent, is that the word, translucent? Pieces of glass. And that would probably make a nice little pendant. I know, just a second, I think I have an example. Yeah, this is just a piece of pottery I turned into a little pendant. I thought this one was sort of cool too. It has like a little medical sign on it, but you can put it on a chain, and I made these for nieces and nephews and Mrs. G and Mom and the rest of it. But it's just a piece of stone plate or platter or something. So yeah, not everything that comes out of the lake is necessarily bad. This is the rarest find that I have. To find blue beach glass like that is really cool. And I've been collecting for 5 years, and that's what I have. I found one piece 2 weeks ago. It was like amazing, because there really wasn't a whole lot to look at. It all depends on how the lake moves the sand around. Here I put a bunch in a light bulb, and this sits on our shelf, just a decorative item. And I know I've made a couple frames with beach glass. And now for what you've all been waiting for, whale burps. And there they are. Now you're going to say, come on, Richard, there are no whales in the Great Lakes. Yeah, who knows? But these are whale burps. And I think if you look how smooth and round those are, what happens is the lake takes grasses and you know what? Okay, let me ask my girlfriend here. She'll know. What the heck? I've had this phone long enough. I should know better how this works. Whale burps, not Wilbert. No, sweetheart. Try it again. Try it again. Whale burps. No, 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 no. Whale burps, not Wilbert. Ah, here we go.
Mix of plastic strands, feathers, pine needles, seaweed, shell pieces, and other odds and ends. The two found at the start of the year formed prickly balls of grass, plastic mesh, and twigs.
Did you hear that first part? Whale burps, also known as surf balls, form when nearshore shallows weave together a messy, entwined mix of plastic strands, feathers, pine needles, seaweed, shell pieces, and other odds and ends. So the lake has actually turned that into a perfect ball. And I usually find these in the spring. I have not seen any all summer, but you will find some in the very early spring. I have two, and I think there's one out in the garage. What a just a weird phenomenon that actually happens. Not only that, but there are certain times of the year where we will actually get ice balls forming on the lakes, and I believe probably does the same thing depending on the temperature. So, okay, what are some of the things that we can do? Okay, first of all, keep track of our plastic. It's real simple. Put the top back on and put it in a recycling bin. Or if there isn't one available, put it in, the trash receptacle. There are people who will recycle these things. There are people, for example, in Michigan, we have a 10-cent deposit on a nickel deposit on aluminum and glass. And there are a lot of people that will actually do some dumpster diving and pick these up and turn them in for money. And they're doing themselves a service, and they're also doing the environment a service. Reuse plastic as much as possible. Like use these containers. If it's at all possible, reuse containers as much as you can. And then when they've outlived their usefulness, then you can take it to the recycle bin. What else can we do? 6-packs rings, those, it's just standard. Make sure it gets someplace where no critter is going to get into it. And the water isn't one of those places. Use glass or aluminum products when you can. Those are very easily recyclable too. I know the beach does not allow glass on the beach, which makes sense, but you could use aluminum. Other things you can do. What the heck did I do with that? There. You can use drink glasses like this, which are reusable, over and over and over. And okay, I can't find them. I got so much junk here, I can't find them. Anyway, if you have water bottles, you can buy water bottles now that are refillable and reusable for months and years. Be like my bicycling water bottles. I've had those now for 4 or 5 years. As soon as they outlive their usefulness, I can recycle them. Those are things that we can do. They're simple. Plastic wrap, yeah, cutlery. Anyway, one other thing that you can do, and it's a real simple thing, is if you see something, pick it up. I can't tell you how many hundreds of people will walk by something like this and just let it sit. How hard would it be to stoop over and pick it up? And even if it was a bigger piece like this, there's nothing dirty about it. Yeah, it's sandy, but most of it's been in the lake so long, it's washed fairly clean. I think it would just be apropos for people to just say, wow, that doesn't belong here. If I pick it up, not only am I going to feel better about myself, but my grandkids will appreciate it because they've got to live a long time along the shores here of Lake Michigan. And this goes everywhere, all lakes around the world, the oceans. I mean, the oceans are full of plastic that people have dumped in there. Rivers. I watch enough bicycling touring to see what is along the side of roads. You don't see it when you're in a car doing 45 or 50 miles an hour, but when you're on a bike tooling 10 or 12 miles an hour, you can see what's down there, and it does make you sad. So let's see what else is going on here. Good night. Okay. Good night to Too Fat, Too Furious. Robert, glad to see you. Geez, I don't know how this works. I think over here somehow I can scroll up. Did I miss anybody? Where's my mouse? I'll probably get my mouse all sandy here. Okay. Pam, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Dee and Zoe. Dee, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And hopefully the next live stream I do will be on a happier note. So with that, I guess it's time to say good night until the next one. Anybody want to help me clean this mess up? Okay. Mrs. J, I know you're watching. Can you bring in the vacuum cleaner? I think I'm going to need it. Bye, all.